When it comes to waterfowl hunting, there's no place that stands above the rest. Arkansas. This isn't just another stop on the flyway. This is the beating heart of the migration. Every season, as the northern skies turn gray and cold, millions of ducks and geese funnel down the Mississippi Flyway, and they all seem to know the same destination, the flooded timber and rice fields of Arkansas. Hear the sounds of wings cutting through the morning stillness and mallards dropping through the canopy are more than just moments. They're tradition, passed down from father to son, guide to hunter, generation to generation. It's not just the timbers. It's the atmosphere, the chill in the air, the stillness in the timber, the echo of a call bouncing off cypress bark. In Arkansas, the hunt starts long before sunrise, with the sound of boats carving through black water, dogs quivering on the bow, and hopes riding on the wind. This is where legends are made. This is where you earn your greenheads. This is Arkansas, the undisputed home of waterfowl hunting.
Arkansas has been the mecca for duck hunters for over 100 years. We are settled in the wintering grounds of the entire country for waterfowl. Now, you look at the different flyways across the country, there's 4 of them, but if you look at the artist rendering that we've all seen of duck hunting and all the migration patterns, you see the funnel, and the funnel, although as it does go up and down, north to south, you also see the funnel where even some of the Pacific Flyway and the Atlantic Flyway comes all the way into Arkansas. The Arkansas eastern half of Arkansas, which is part of the Mississippi Alluvial Valley, is some of the richest habitat for waterfowl. And the wintering ground basically starts in north central Arkansas and it moves all the way down into Louisiana. But in the last several years, less and less ducks are going further south. And so that's why we look at where we are is the wintering grounds today. And we're very blessed to have just thousands upon thousands of waterfowl that come and visit and stay with us throughout the entire season. Often we have birds that stay with us all the way up until March and April. The name of our outfit is the Lost Bridge Duck Club, and as you can gather, we're a duck hunting operation. Waterfowl's our bread and butter. We're talking about ducks and geese. We've got lots of speckle bellies for the goose hunting, and then mallards is king in Arkansas. Now, what's really cool about our place is that we've got an incredible amount of diversity as far as habitat and the types of places that you could hunt for waterfowl. In just about any type of scenario that you can imagine in Arkansas, we've got it. Whether it's ag fields, we've got lots and lots of moist soil habitat, which is natural native wetland grasses that flood seasonally. And then we've got, of course, flooded timber, the traditional hardwood bottomland timber. We also have flooded cypress and tupelo breaks, buckbrush sloughs. We've also have creeks, and over 2 miles of the White River runs down our eastern border. People always ask me, where'd you come up with the name Lost Bridge Duck Club? Well, our first year that we owned the property, we were just learning the property, trying to figure out where the ducks were going to naturally use, and I came across this old bridge that crossed across the big creek that runs right down through the middle of the property. And I'm talking an old bridge that looked like it was 100 years old, and it was all broken down. You could see a few pylons going across the creek, and then there was these concrete supports and some metal on the sides where you would come across the creek. We asked some of the locals if they could give us any history about the bridge, and the guys would say, oh yeah, that's the old swinging bridge. But I never really found out any more information other than it was used in the 1800s, and I looked on a map and saw that it was used as late as the late 1930s. But after that, it's not on a map anymore. One day, we were out hunting, and we were at one of the ends of the bridge. Day one of, we don't even have a name for this property yet. But this is really cool. White River is on the other side of them trees over yonder. And we've got the buggy loaded up. I call it a buggy. It's a Ranger. And we've got some wood on there that we're going to use to finish up on a blind. Got a few decoys we're going to carry out there. And get a spot fixed up because we're going to hunt it for the first time in the morning. I'm really excited. Let's go. And I was talking on the phone to one of my buddies, and he says, "Where are you guys hunting over there today?" And I said, "We're hunting over next to the old Lost Bridge." Well, one of the guys that was hunting with me, we've been talking about what are we going to name this club. Well, when I said that, as soon as I got off the phone, he said, "Dude, that's the name, the Lost Bridge Duck Club." And we all talked about it and said, that's it. So when we started looking for property to purchase, I went to some of the areas that I had my own history with. Not necessarily this specific spot, but just the general area of our state. The White River Corridor is a major migration route that ducks follow, and it's what we would consider the traditional wintering grounds. And most of my duck hunting in my early days was about 15 or 20 minutes from where our property is right now. So I began looking very intently in this area to find a piece of property that would be for sale or something that maybe we could reach out and purchase. Location is always really important when it comes to waterfowl hunting, and we are really set in a great location. We have about 2.5 miles of White River frontage on one side. We also have the Hurricane Lake Management Area, which is a state-owned area that's about 18,000 acres, mostly flooded hardwood trees, which is really fantastic for hunting. And then we're also just about 5 or 6 miles from the Bald Knob National Wildlife Refuge, which is one of the most important refuges in this part of the country. So because of all that, we have lots of birds in the area. We have birds trafficking across our property every single day. And then they're also using our property because we manage it right. The Lost Bridge Duck Club is such a special place. From the very beginning when we purchased the property, it was a complete blank slate, being that it was a working farm that we turned into nothing but waterfowl hunting and recreational use. Along with all of the infrastructure and habitat improvements that we're making, we're also building a lodge. So it's a very exciting day out here on the property because we're cutting timber. I say we, not me. We got a timber crew out here cutting about 30 acres of woods because we're going to be building a lake and a lodge out here over the next year or so. We've been waiting for about 4 months for it to dry out enough to get in here because it's literally rained like every 3 or 4 days, since January. And it's been probably one of the wettest years we've ever had. And so it's really stifled our ability to be able to get out here and get anything done on the property. So today is the day that it all starts, and we'll probably be at it for at least a year, year and a half, until we finally get the lake and the lodge completely completed. So we're out here on the property where we're going to be building the lodge and the shop building. Right behind me is the shop building. We're putting the stakes out where the corners of the shop is going to be, and then we're going to be going over here and doing the same thing where the lodge is. We're making sure that it's oriented just the right way, both from the way it approaches and then also looking from one building to the next to make sure it's set the way we want it to look. And that's something I'm really excited about. We're building a 12,500 square foot lodge that's got 14 single occupancy bedrooms for all the guests, and each one has its own private bath. The lodge also has all the things that you would expect at a high-end lodge, including a commercial kitchen, a giant great room with a fireplace. It's going to actually have a real tree inside with mounted ducks flying around the side of it. It's got a big game room, a conference room in case we have some groups that want to have a corporate retreat, that sort of thing. And then we've got a library, a pro shop. It's going to be an incredible place. From the very beginning when we purchased the property, it was a complete blank slate, being that it was a working farm that we turned into nothing but waterfowl hunting and recreational use. And so we had tons of infrastructure that we began implementing, building levees and roads, fixing and repairing things that needed it. But we did have some things that were already there, which really was very beneficial. We had about 3.5 miles of underground hard pipe that we could pump water to about 1,000 acres of our property, which was so wonderful. I mean, we have flashboard risers and other types of water control structures with levees and dams and that sort of thing. So we could flood so much of our property from well, from relift pumps, and then we can also capture water that's flood water from the river. When the river gets to a certain level, we can open a pipe, it comes in. So we've got lots of ways to get water throughout the property, whether it's from the natural water coming in, or we can artificially enhance it by flooding, which we usually have to do early season. So we have got some poly pipe that we have hooked on to right here. Why is that zoomed in? There we go. Yeah.
The pad is coming off that concrete right there, so it won't wear. Get this old poly pipe under. See, we're on this corner right here. We don't want it.
And we're gonna hook it onto the back of this Ranger and pull it out yonder way out to the impoundment and get some water out there. We're gonna send water uphill.
Yeah, it'll take it a minute right there. It'll fill the whole pipe up before it crawls up over that hill. But
yeah. Okay. Well, this is gonna be a jam up killing spot right here.
yeah.
What we do at Lost Bridge that's different than many other waterfowl outfitters is it is a year-round deal for us, because our properties, none of our properties are income producing, as far as like we don't have any ag ground that we own. We have a little bit of lease ground, but as far as the property that we own, we are farming for ducks. And so we're farming weeds, as they say, some food plots, but mostly we are working with what God gave us, the moist soil habitat and the other natural habitat that we have, and we're trying to enhance it. And that's a full-time job. Most people don't realize that. We have 1,700 acres that we are intensively managing. We also have a couple of other sections of property that we lease that we also do the management on as well, that has no farm income. And a lot of outfitters that rely on farm income to help support part of what they do, they have farmers that they hire, they have income from it, and it pays for all that stuff. But what we do is very different than that. So today we are out on the property. We're doing some rolling. This is a particular spot that we have some moist soil habitat on. It's fairly flat, wide open field that hadn't been farmed in a few years. And we got a tractor back here that is got a cleated roller on it, and it's mashing down the stubble, pushing some stuff down into the soil just a little bit, and it's really going to spur on, hopefully, the moist soil habitat like smartweed. So we'll see what happens here in a few months. Cleats they mash stubble and debris back down into the soil, so it will decompose quicker. So yeah. So what we did early on, we rolled about probably a fourth of the habitat, probably about 10-12 acres, something like that. Maybe a little bit more than a fourth, maybe close to a half. And we got a really great response. with a lot of the grasses, especially the barnyard grass. It did really, really well. So today I am planting the last couple of little spots in rice. So we have about 55 acres right here that I'm standing at the corner of, and what we're doing is we are going to be disking up the entire field. We're going to plant it specifically for wildlife, for us to be able to hunt and feed the animals, deer, and then the waterfowl. With all of the variety of hunting habitat that we have, we also have to have blinds to go in them, and we build all of our own blinds. I bought a few, of course, but most of them we've built ourselves. Either me and my guides, or I've got some guys that worked with us that are building them for us. And we've got, just like I said, every single place we have may have a different type of blind that needs to go there. Something that's in the wide open needs a much lower profile blind than something that you could put in the woods or in a tree line. And so we have lots of different designs of blinds to meet the needs of where we're hunting. Across there.
That's what I think, or a slab.
A slab, something like that, and then it acts as it keeps rain from getting down in the blind right here. So you've got to make this blind invisible with brush. You can't like be able to see the brush. But here's what I was telling you about what we're doing with the other blind. We've got rice stubble attached on the outside, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just mass grass, just throw it in there, and it'll stick and it'll pile up and it'll hang up, and it'll be on the back side of this. You can do the same thing on the top and on the back. Our first blind spot blind. I'm really excited about this blind. We're getting ready to unload it off the trailer right here at the edge of one of our units that we're going to actually start flooding here in the next couple of days, and so it's kind of perfect timing to be able to put it in there, and then we'll flood around it, so it'll make it a little bit easier to manage. Duck hunting is the same everywhere, and it's different everywhere, and that's what I like about waterfowl hunting so much. I love to travel all over the place and hunt, a greenhead in Idaho and a greenhead in Ontario, Canada, and in Arkansas, and people say, well, a greenhead's a greenhead's a greenhead. Yes, it is, and no, it's not. And the time of year that you hunt them, whether it's early season, what I would consider early season would be October or November, because that's before we even get to see them, is very different than what we see when the ducks get here in December and January, because once they get here in mass, thousands upon thousands of birds, you have the opportunity to do things with them, manipulate them in different ways than you could ever do, further north. Run it. Right on. No, you good. That'll work. First sprig in the morning. Yeah,
Hey, I said hi. You got 4 there? Yeah. That was awesome.
I think what's important in running an outfitting business, especially for waterfowl, is your team, the right location, because it is all about location, and then having the right equipment to do the job. The guides have to know what they're doing, not just from in the moment, but also being able to help decide where we're going to go, because we got lots of places to go. And so again, that goes to the controllables, having the right equipment, the right spot, the right know-how, and then the accommodations being, exceeding expectations. That's what we're after, and that's why we're that's why we give the experience that guys want to have. The ducks are a bonus, and that's what we really hoped for it to be, is everything else was an A+, and the good duck hunting is a bonus. We can't control that. That's up to the Lord, that's up to the weather, and if we have all things, normal, then it's going to be a good season, and that's what we're looking forward to this year. I mean, I am really excited about where we are today at Lost Bridge Duck Club. The vision that we have for the future is really exciting for me. Because this whole project is way bigger than me. It's way bigger than our team, because we are making decisions that will affect, the land for generations and generations. We're building a legacy.
At Lost Bridge Duck Club, nothing happens by chance. It's the product of early mornings, late nights, and the relentless grind of hardworking hands. Every levee built, every decoy placed, every blind brushed, none of it is accidental. It's a labor of love forged over years by those who understand that greatness isn't given, it's earned. This club stands as one of the finest in Arkansas not because of luck, but because of effort. Because of those who show up when it's still dark, who know every inch of this ground like home, and who live for those brief moments when the woods explode with wings. Today was a glimpse into something bigger. The season's just getting started. The migration is far from over. And the story of Lost Bridge, well, it's only just begun.